everyone. Welcome to the second edition of the Skill Set Monthly interview with a friend of Greater Cleveland Works. This month's friend is my old friend, Grace Heffernan, who leads the Northeast Ohio Worker Center. We are here outside of Let Go Coffee, and the owner of Let Go Coffee, Matt Ashton, is chair of the Fair Employment Wage Board, which is one of the many ways that Greater Cleveland Works collaborates with Grace and her team. So we've invited Grace today for the second edition of the newsletter because Grace leads the Pay Equity Alliance with Collaborate Cleveland, and they have some big news to share. The reason she's our second guest is because back in April, Cleveland City Council passed legislation. Grace, tell us about this legislation.
Sure. So my name's Grace. I'm with the Northeast Ohio Worker Center, and we are so proud to lead the Pay Equity Alliance with Collaborate Cleveland. Michelle is selling herself a little bit short because she has been a key person in bringing this legislation to fruition. You were our first ever panel host, if I recall, at our kickoff event.
Love to be a panel host.
You'd love to be a panel host. You're a great one. So this legislation is the most progressive pay transparency legislation in the state of Ohio and does two primary things to help close the racial and gender pay gap in Cleveland. The first is that it prohibits employers from asking about salary history during the job interview. This is one of the easiest things that gets people stagnated in low-wage hourly work, and it's not going to happen anymore in the city of Cleveland. The second thing is that it's going to require job postings to include salary ranges.
Grace, thanks for that summary. So now we're going to get into the questions we ask our guests monthly. Tell me about your first job. I actually don't know the answer to this question.
Okay, so my first job was at the Twin Lakes Country Club in Portage County, and I was a server, and I served weddings and banquets, and in the summer, I was down in the sweaty, hot summer kitchen by the pool.
I also worked in food service in my life, and I think most people probably have at some point. I think it's a really important life skill. All right, tell me now about your role and what does a typical day look like for you, if there is such a thing?
Okay, so I'm the executive director of the Northeast Ohio Worker Center, and despite the term center being in our name, we exist in our hearts and minds and coffee shops and partners' offices across the city. So I'm often on the go. I love to ride my bike when I can to meetings. And typically, like a typical day is going to include some combination of going into partner places and spaces and doing workplace know your rights training for workers. And then we also help individual workers when they've had issues on the job. So some combination of being in partnership with our community as well as hanging out with workers and helping them better understand what their rights are at work.
Thanks, Grace. And what's one goal you or the Worker Center have in 2025 as it races by?
Great question as we round out the summer. The biggest thing for us, one of the biggest things is making sure that pay transparency is implemented. It is one thing for a policy to exist on paper. It is quite another thing for it to exist in practice. And we are deeply committed to the implementation of pay transparency so that it has real impact on regular Cleveland's working lives.
And what's one thing that inspires you?
Oh, okay, this is cheesy, but the power of working people. No one is going to fix this economy for us. We're going to do it all together. And the Worker Center is so excited to partner with you, Michelle, and Greater Cleveland Works in the work of fixing work for working people.
Thank you for joining us on our second edition. And thanks for following along. We know there's some background noise, but we couldn't resist recording today on a beautiful summer morning here in Ohio City.